What is up, everybody? What's going on? I'm back. It's your girl, Jay. And it is time for another edition of Mag Flashback. This time we are covering Right On Magazine. If you can see that, Right On Magazine, the January 1996 edition. So we're just going to go ahead and jump in. So, right on January 1996. Let me get to where I need to. Boom. See, I got y'all again. I will tell you this time, the pictures aren't the best on some of these pages because again, guys, these are older magazines. A lot of these I could not find digital pictures of, so I literally had to take the pictures with with my phone on by myself. Like, not, I wasn't able to find any like professional digital pictures. So what you see is what my magazine actually looks like. So let's go ahead and get started. So soon as you open up, so I'll make this bigger here. All right, soon as you open up, boom, right here is a picture of Ray J and Brandy. 1996, y'all. So this was like teenage Brandy. Brandy was somewhere around maybe 15, 14, 15, around that. And I don't know how old Ray J, how much younger Ray J is than Brandy, but obviously look at him. Super young, right? Another picture. So I will tell you, with the Right On magazines, the Right On magazines were um like, I don't know if a lot of you remember like the teen magazine. So they had like Tiger Beat, and I forgot the other ones that they had, but they pretty much had posters inside of them. So the magazines would have a few articles in it, but it was mainly the colored posters that you would have in the magazines, which you would rip out and hang up on your wall or wherever you um, put your posters. So that's what the purpose mainly was for these types of magazines. Your Right-Ons, your Fresh, your Word Up. A lot of those contain like colored pictures or posters, so you can put up. Real quick, I'm going to show you. Let me get back. I'm going to show you what the magazine actually looks like. So yeah, you have your colored pictures and stuff in here, but the actual magazine pages are like black and white, and it's news. It's like a newspaper kind of, I guess, paper or whatever. But everything was in black and white until you got to like the posters and stuff that you could pull out and put on your wall and stuff like that. So at least this is how this the Right On was. As we go through some other magazines, I think this is the only Right On that I found that I still had, but I'm not sure if there's others, because I haven't gone through all my magazines yet to see what I have. But anyway, so there's Michael Jackson. And I'm sorry, you guys, I keep having to clear my throat. Allergies are bad. Allergies are bad. So there's Mike. This page here is, and I hope you guys can see this. I feel like I had them bigger last time, but this right here was fan club listings. So you could, if you wanted to write your favorite, artist, you could write them, not email them, not tweet them, not send them a DM. You had to physically write them, paper, pen, get a stamp, and mail it off to these record labels. The addresses were the record labels. So Bone, you had to go to send it to Los Angeles. Monica, you sent hers to Flavor Unit Management because that's who she was managed by at the time. Heavy D is MCA Records. Dondre Whitfield, He was a part of, it was a show called The Crew on Fox. So you send it in care of the Crew Fox Broadcast Company. Julio had his own PO box, and then Aaliyah, you would send it into Jive Records. So that's literally how we had to, show our fandom, was by sending them letters. So, I mean, this is 96. We didn't have internet. So, or at least not in the form where you guys have it now. Couple of things. I don't have pictures of everything, but as I'm going through the magazine, I'll talk about maybe some of the stuff that maybe I don't have pictures of. So, the color pinups that were in this magazine, we saw Brandy and Ray J, Michael Jackson, Dondre Whitfield. I don't have it in here. I must have torn it out and put it up, I'm sure. Notorious B.I.G. We have Escape, Bone Thugs. I don't have a poster of them in here. I know I have. I remember, if I can find a picture one day, I'll post the picture of when I was in college. I had that poster of Bone Thugs up on my wall in my dorm room. But TLC poster is not in here. Yo Yo, Jasmine Guy, Tisha Campbell, Tashina Arnold, that is in here. Method Man, Spraga Benz, Chili, Immature, Total, for example, Dougie Fresh. Some of the exclusive articles that were in here, or exclusives, were an interview with Jodeci, well, actually of Casey of Jodeci, Notorious Big. There was a write up about him, a write up about Junior Mafia, something on there, something in here about Prince, Bone Thugs and Harmony. They talked to Crazy. They did a small little write up of TLC, and they talked about a couple of movies that were coming out, and then Michael Michelle of New York Undercover. I don't know if y'all remember, she was JC's fiance, if y'all used to watch um, New York Undercover. Now, I didn't even talk about the cover, so let's go back to the cover. Who's on the cover? We have Jodeci, Notorious Big, TLC, Junior Mafia. Up top is a little cut off, but there's a picture of Angela Bassett, Whitney, Loretta Devine, and Leela Rashawn from Waiting to Exhale. And then there's someone at the bottom, which I probably knew who this was back then, but I don't remember who he is now. Monteco, 15 and ripe for loving. that was that was a wild time. The 90s were a wild times. Let's get back to what's in this magazine. So, just like the vibe, uh for us to find out what was going on with everybody, we would turn to these magazines, because that's how we would find out what everybody was up to, or what some of the things they were up to. So in this picture, you can see, although it's black and white, Bryant McKnight is up top with the Whitehead brothers. Madonna is, I had no idea UNV was someone, was her group or was on her label. I didn't know that, but that's what it said in this article. The next page is the Diggable Planets up top. You have Martin with Millie Jackson. You have Ed Lover with Al Scratch. Now, there was a group called Ill and Al Scratch, and Ed Lover used to do a show with Dr. Dre, not Dr. Dre, the producer, but there was a different Dr. Dre who they hosted the iconic show MTV Raps, Yo MTV Raps, hosted by Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. If you have a chance, you should look them up if you don't know who that is. Recently, I think Ed Lover was speaking to, what's the guy's name? DJ Academics, about his disrespect of hip hop royalty, I guess you can say. Some of the trailblazers of hip hop. Him being a VJ, and I'm talking about Ed Lover, back in those days when rap was just starting to become a thing on mainstream TV, and his show being one of the, you know, I don't want to say pinnacle. I can't think of the right word, but being instrumental in introducing that, along with like Rap City off of BET. He could speak to that because he was there around that time when rap was just, starting, and he was there through the beginnings of Jay-Z's and the Nas's, and even groups like, when Fab Five Freddy was out and stuff like that. So he knows what he's talking about, but I won't get too much into what's going on today. We're here to flashback. So that's that. Seal is on here. What's the next page? So this picture is not good because y'all, I had a hard time trying to keep these pages flat to take a picture. But before we get into the Jodeci thing, there's a section of the magazine called Letters to the Editor. That's when people could write into the editor and kind of just talk about what they liked or what they didn't like about a certain article or whatever that was going on, or if they just wanted to support the magazine. Cynthia Horner was the editor, and I think the owner of RightOnMagazine. But yeah, they wrote letters to her. There was one I was going to point out, but now I'm not going to. But it was about Aaliyah. Let me see, because one of them was obviously talking about Aaliyah and R. Kelly, which I'm not going to read that one. But this one was just like, first of all, I want to say, I love your magazine. In your September issue, a reader wrote in saying that Aaliyah is still number one, and I couldn't agree more. I love Aaliyah so much. The articles you print about her are fat, PHAT. Also, I would like to see more information about the Wu-Tang Clan. I have so many questions about them. And that was someone named Vivian from Seattle, Washington. But it was like different little or different posts on here about people writing in and things like that. Let's see. Now we get to the Jodeci interview, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Really, I just wanted to show this black and white picture of, of Jodeci. I had the biggest crush on Mr. Dalvin. I wouldn't say still do, but I've always loved him. People loved Devontae. I loved me some Mr. Dalvin. I just thought he was so just the cutest one. Also, maybe it was something because I was such a big fan of TLC when I found out that T-Boz and Dalvin were a thing. I was just so excited. But the main thing I wanted to point out in this article, because this article is an interview with KC. Now, many of you know or should know that KC and Mary J were an item. And give me a second. Let me fix my mic here. But if you ever had a chance to watch her documentary that is on, I think it's on Amazon Prime, she talked about a time where her and KC were together, but constantly in the media, he was saying they were not. Like on all his interviews, printed or just live interviews, he always denied the fact that they were together, and that really hurt her. And to think about that, the first question asked on this in his interview is about him and Mary. So I'll read what went down, just these few lines. So Cynthia, who's like I said, the editor, she says, what has been the most fun about being famous? And KC says, the most fun about being famous is the girls. You knew I was going to say that, right? Cynthia says, what do you mean the girls? Everybody has you paired off with Mary J. Blige. So you don't need the girls. KC says, well, come on now. Me and Mary? We're just close friends. You know, we have our friendship thing going on. And then she puts that he smiles secretively. And then she says, the readers want you to be paired up with her now. And he says, they do. And she says, they like the idea. And he says, you think so? And she says, well, sort of. He says, I don't know. And then she says, they think it's cute. say something nice about your fans. And then he goes on to talk about his fans and, just being able to be in a group with Jodeci. They talk about a little bit about them going on the road and just his career so far. So thought that was interesting. You can tell by the way he's like, you think so? You want like Casey, you're wrong for that. You're wrong for that, for not claiming Mary. We'll never forgive you for that, especially after watching the doc and seeing how like that was, pretty hurtful for her because they literally were together and he, you know, didn't want to say he did in public, I guess. So the next up is just a picture of Biggie. There was a small little write up about him just as he was starting his career. And the name of the article is The Notorious B.I.G. Puts the East Coast Back on the Map. There was a time where, gangster rap was the thing. A lot of West Coast rap was very popular with like NWA and Ice Cube and all them, Eazy-E and stuff like that. Through over the years, there started to be an uprise of more East Coast rap, which we know that it turned into because Tupac died in 96. So somewhere in there, there was that East Coast, West Coast beef prior to Tupac's death. So there was a lot of buzz about, the East Coast coming up, kind of, I want to say stealing, but it was kind of taking a shine away from the West Coast. And that just started a whole kind of beef in hip hop, which we know turned very, very violent and deadly. But this article just talks about him being with Junior Mafia, him including some R&B in some of his music. He was just getting ready to film, or he had already filmed One More Chance video, and he talked about all the people that was inside in the video, which we know is Faith, Mary J. Blige, Heavy D, Total, Patra, Puffy, Jermaine Dupri, Craig Mack, The Brat, Luke, Miss Jones, Janae, and there was tons of other ones in that. So it's just a small, like I said, small article in there. So here is I think coming up the pictures of Escape. So they did them individually. So this is Latasha Scott, obviously. There's Tiny. In between that, because they split them up, they have an article about Junior Mafia, and I just wanted to put the picture up there. You can see Lil Kim. The Junior Mafia consisted of Klepto, Lil Kim, the Snakes, and the Sixes. The Sixes is where um, Lil C's was a part of. So the collective group of rappers, Junior Mafia, is the Sixes, which is Little Caesar, Chico, Bugsy, Capone, and Nino Brown. The Snakes, Trife and Larceny, and two solo acts, Lil Kim, the Lieutenant, and MC Klepto. I don't really remember a whole lot about. I knew who Junior Mafia was, but outside of that, I didn't know a bunch about the group members, except for Lil Kim and Lil C's. Those were the ones that I heard about the most. Obviously, Little Kim branched out on her own, became a huge, solo artist in her right. Junior Mafia was kind of like they said, just a musical collection, a collective of music artists. Not necessarily they did release some music under Junior Mafia, but they were mainly just a collective of these artists. So Lil Kim was always supposed to be a solo artist. She came in as a solo artist. She was just part of this collective, but she went on to become the mega superstar that she is today. So I just wanted you guys to see that picture if you can see it there. Next, we have more celebrity shots, is what it's called, snapshots. So again, looking at what some our the celebrities are up to. So we have Brandy with looks like Salt and Pepper. Miss Jones is up top. Is that I can't see who that is. Martha Reeves. Oh wow. From the Supremes. You have Craig Mack, and then you have Brandy again, um, with Cynthia Horner of the Right On magazine. Next page is Janae again. We have Method Man on here, Dougie Fresh, and then at the very bottom, if you guys can see, is Grant Hill, Angela Bassett, Malik Yoba, and it says James Cruz, who was part of Mercury Records. But look at a young Angela Bassett. Like besides that hairstyle, like Angela has not really aged at all. Other than her, she's like way more muscular now. But look at her if you guys can see. Um, Depending on what you're watching, if you can actually see her picture down there. But I thought that was cool to show that. This right here. So this was, I think this was also in the Vibe magazine, which this is a popular thing to have in a lot of the magazines back then. So again, we didn't have internet. There were no real ways for us to keep up with our favorite artists because either you saw them on an interview or you read about them in a magazine. We didn't have cameras around them. We did have paparazzi, which you could, that's why they had the little snapshot corner or the what's happening section and stuff like that. But in the big scheme of things, we didn't know what was going on with our stars. So they came up with these fact sheets that you can order. Again, I believe I talked about this, but yeah, you would just choose the artist that you want. You can pick up to six artists on here. You pay $250 for each star for each fact sheet. So you can pick up to six. And then you also had to send oh no, Canada and foreign places had to send $4. United States had to send 250, and then you would add 50 cents for postage and handling. But you would get a fact sheet and you would get a picture. I don't remember if I sent anything in ever with these. I feel like either I didn't have the money or I didn't feel like I didn't really want to do that. So, but again, this is very common in a lot of the 90s magazines, um, to have these sections where you can get the fact sheets and send them in because, again, that was the only way we can really find out about our artists. Another section in here, which I wasn't able to have the take pictures of, again, I'll hold this up. So there was a section with prints, and it's just pictures. It's just pictures of Prince. I don't know if you can really see them. It's not really an article. It's just showing. And again, his name, he was the artist formerly known as Prince during this time. So it just shows him performing. He's is different, like just random pictures, him in front of his property, him with Patti LaBelle, and I believe that's Eddie Murphy. Different random pictures, but they just um wanted to, I guess, promote him and give him some shine because I believe this was around the time they was saying that he was making his comeback because he was Prince, and then a lot of stuff happened with his label where he was like upset about the fact that he couldn't release his music the way he wanted to. I don't know if you guys remember he wrote Slave. He had the word slave cut not cut into his face, but with his facial hair. He had slave across his face. And then he stopped being Prince and started doing music as the symbol, which is the artist formerly known as Prince, is how because we never knew the name of the symbol. So he became the artist formerly known as Prince, and he released music that way as a way to get around the hold that the record labels at the time had him in. So very interesting about Prince. If you don't know much about Prince, I would tell you to look him up. He was an amazing, amazing artist. Then here's just a picture again. It's kind of a crappy picture that I took, but it is in black and white. But this was just another kind of interview with Bone Thugs. This one was with Crazy. And again, these were very basic interviews. So this was just talking about them kind of getting their start. Um, it kind of talked about why they're a little bit different than most of your rap groups because Bone actually like they rapped with a harmony. That was the whole point. Bone Thugs and Harmony. They sang a lot as they were rapping, which was way different than anything that was happening in hip hop and rap during that time. And one of the questions, um, but they were also very dark. If you've ever listened, especially to their first album, there's a lot of it's a lot of, of darkness in that album, talking about Ouija boards, talking about you know murder and things like that. Um, but with a melody which made you I don't know, it felt good to listen to, but when you actually realize what you're listening to, it was kind of a little bit much. But one of the questions there was what's the category of your music? Is it hip hop or is it hardcore? And Crazy said it's considered thug music. See, we consider our music rap. We're just rapping and we're thugs. We've been rapping all our lives. So it's just rapping with a little harmony to it. But we rap about the same things, everyday things. I think he talked about their name. So she says, how did you guys pick out the name Bone and how did you pick out who represented each name? So Crazy says, that's just us, Bone. It stands for Brothers on Normal Elimination or beaten in words every day. You know, I never knew that. And I read this article and I don't remember ever, I guess I didn't retain it, but okay. Um, and he says things like that. But as far as the names, Lazy, his names comes from the way he speaks. If you hear him speak, he kind of drags all his words. Biz names comes from the fact that his mind is like, I got to do this. No, I got to do that. And Flesh and Wish, that's just them. And me, and then the person doing the interview says, you're just crazy. And he says, yep. So that was just a little tidbit about Bone. So what do we have next? Um, I don't know if you guys know who Heather B is. She is a co-host on the Sway in the Morning show, but way before that, way before that, Heather B did music. Excuse me, I have to get a drink. Heather B did music. She was a rapper. She actually, fun fact, she was on the very first reality TV show. I think Real World is the very first reality type TV show. Um, she was on Real World New York, which was the very first season of that and what set off all reality shows to come. It was the first of its kind to ever come on. It was on MTV, and she was one of the people on it. Her and Kevin Powell, who went on to write. I think he wrote for Vibe, but he's a poet. He's a writer, and he's an activist. But yeah, she was on that show. Before that, she was a rapper with I want to say Boogie Down Productions with KRS-One. If I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken. I might look it up while I'm sitting here. But this was just showing that she opened a beauty salon, and it was just showing the different people that showed up. This was one of the things that she loved to do was doing hair. So she owned a shop, but she was actually working there too. She actually did hair. So that's just a picture or pictures about her doing work at the shop. So I'm gonna see if I can look up Heather B real quick and see if I was right. Because I believe it was with, and I could be wrong, might be mixing things up because this was a long time ago, guys. KRS-One and DJ D Nice and Heather B, if I'm not mistaken, were all in this group. So see how well my brain is if I know what I'm talking about. Um, yes, she was a member of the hip hop group Boogie Down Productions. And who was in Boogie Down Productions? Look at this. KRS-One, D Nice, and there was a DJ Scott LaRock, and Heather B. So yes, I was right. Look at that. I remember some stuff, y'all. So yeah, so that was Heather B and her her beauty shop. Now, here's the rest of Escape. There's Candy. These pictures look like glamour shots. And there's Tamika. They all kind of favor, but you can tell they were like super young. Let me see if I can go back to Tiny and Latasha. Look at that. Oh man. All right. So next we have, this is another just advertisement about how to get information on your favorite artist. This is called the infotainment line. It was a 1-800 number that you would call to get information, or the 411 on your favorite artists. Now, they would play certain songs on here, like little snippets of music coming up. There would be some trivia. You could win fat prizes. Fat was the word back then. PHAT. But I believe I caught this line a couple of times. I always wanted stuff on TLC. I think it was like TLC, The Brat, Aaliyah, um, I think Fuji's. I used to call and it would be like you would call and it would say like what press 1 for Aaliyah or press 2 for this person. But you would just have to listen to all that and then figure out the number you want to press, and then it would give you like very short little information about them or whatever. So I don't remember exactly what they talked about, but I do remember calling that number. Here's a picture of Yo-Yo. I want to say Pam and Gina, but Tashina Arnold and Jasmine Guy and Tisha Campbell from, I'm not sure exactly where they were, but that's just a poster if people wanted to have a poster of them. There's a poster of Method Man performing with his fine self. This was the feature on TLC. Again, not really an article. Actually, it wasn't an article. All this pretty much talked about was kind of their story of getting started to where they were at that present time in 96. So they started off with Ooh on the TLC tip, which you can see that's the picture up top is the picture from Ain't Too Proud to Beg, which is their first video and their first single ever. But it talked about how they first came out, bright colors, condoms on the clothes, big baggy clothes, something that no one had seen before. When they released Ooh on the TLC tip, it became it was certified double platinum, and its success really um, started the wave for LaFace Records with LA Reid and Babyface. Pebbles, who discovered them and was their manager. I don't think not during that present time in 96, but when they got started, she was their manager. LA and Babyface came together and started a record label in Atlanta called LaFace. And the success of on the TLC tip really helped solidify their record label. Then you can see there's a picture with TLC and Crisscross down at the bottom, and that one just pretty much says hailing from Atlanta, TLC was one of the first groups along with Crisscross to set the city up as a musical or as a music mecca in the making. Very bottom is their tour bus for Crazy Sexy Cool, and then the next page shows kind of their progression of how they were looking at present time, still baggy clothes, but a little bit more mature, a little bit more sexier, as they said in the magazine. And Crazy Sexy Cool had at that time sold over 5 million copies worldwide, and they were getting ready to do a tour. So That's that on that. Now, again, is if I can find any tech things in these magazines, I do want to put it out there. So the first thing up top is an organizer. I had one of these. All I did was put my friends' phone numbers in it and their birthdays. So yes, we had phone numbers that we had to either write down in a book, or technology allowed us to have these. They kind of look like calculators in a way, but you would open it up and then you can just program your friend, like a name and then a phone number or whatever it was that you wanted to have in there. And then you just scroll through. So you can have it in alphabetical order, scroll through your friends and find their name and whatever other information you wanted to wanted to have in there. Now these two, one was called a sports locker and one was called a locker mate. So the sports locker allowed you to input information about your favorite athlete or favorite team and be able to put stats in there for them. And they had a way to organize that. And then the regular locker mate was just a place, like I said, you can put friends information or whatever you wanted in there and it just organized it together. So we definitely carried those around. It was like the size of your hand that the whole little compartment was. I don't remember how long I had that thing, but I thought I was something when I had mine. The next one is a CD player, a portable CD player. And this probably it was a shock-proof CD player, probably, because by that time, technology was coming up. So we were moving out from tapes, going more into CDs. And instead of having, the big boom box or whatever, or your standard stereo in your house, you had these portable CDs and they had the shock proof on it. So whenever you hit it, it wouldn't skip the CD playing. And so definitely had mine. I don't think I had a Kenwood. I think mine was a Sony. I think it was a Sony one. I can't remember. I wonder, I'm sure I don't. If I went to my mom's house, if I can find my old CD player. But yes, that was the hot and tech during that time. These were the holiday gift guides. So if you wanted to make your kids happy, get them an organizer or get them a brand new CD player, portable CD player. And then another thing that's not pictured here, there was an article on LL Cool J. Um, Again, LL Cool J was big in the 90s. Some of the things that they talked about, this was like a little trivia. So some of the things they pointed out, LL's real name, which we know now is James Todd Smith, and he hails from Queens, New York. Two of LL's biggest hit records are I Need Love and Mama Said Knock You Out. In 1992, he founded Camp Cool J, a private, not-for-profit youth organization, which provides academic and recreational activities. He's the first artist to release product on Def Jam Records in 1984, and he's the first rap artist to reach number one on the R&B charts. I don't know what song that was. I wonder if it was "Around the Way Girl." What? How would he be on the R&B chart? I don't know. I have to look that up for you. I'll look it up and I'll get back to you. He was the first rap artist to headline on MTV Unplugged. Don't remember that, but that's information. Um, let's see. He was in love with Apollonia. At this time, he was married to his wife Simone, which he's still married to now. He during this time he was 6'1" and weighed 200 pounds. His family calls him Todd. He's a Capricorn. He was born January 14th. To the date of 1996, January 1996, or whenever they did this article, he had sold 3 million records. Oh, he had sold 3 million records by the time he was 19. Um, he had a show during this time also in the house that was on MTV. By the time LL was 16 years old, he was a famous rapper. And He likes to spend time hanging out with his friends and listening to music. So that was the thing. Also, another little thing in here, which I didn't take a picture of, but you can see the amazing talking watch and talking keychain. So my dad had this watch. So you would push the button, it would tell you like what time it is. You can set alarms and it will talk to you about alarm is going off or not to be late or something like that. Man, technology, y'all. What do we have next? Let me get back in here. Oh, I did have the picture of LL. I thought I took that out. All right. So, well, if you guys want to see LL, there he is in black and white. And there's a picture of Chili. Like I told you guys, I took the picture of TLC out that I had in here. I'm sure I'm not sure where it is. I know it was on my wall for a very long time. This I thought was pretty funny. Well, not funny, but I don't know if you guys know who Father MC is, but he was he was a big rapper back in that time. He's where Mary J. Blige first got her singing debut. I forgot the name of the song. If you do to me, I gotta look it up. I'm not me singing on y'all. Don't listen to me. Um, trying to sing. I'll look it up later. But Mary J. used to sing back up for Father MC. He was a rapper, but when people would sing, she was one of the background singers for him. But those of you that know the song, comment below and put it down there. I'm having a brain fart. I don't remember the name of the song, but if you know the name of the song, go ahead and comment below for me, please. Um, but he was in, I only put this picture in here, A, because he was cute. Two, or B, because he was advertising for skincare. This was Nubia Skincare. They got Father MC to be the spokesperson for this skincare line, which I thought is pretty funny when you think about your rappers now. How many of them would be in a skincare ad, right? Not probably a whole bunch, but I thought, that was just something I wanted to point out. I thought was cute. Next is more out and abouts. Um, more, let's see who's Coolio's in here. We got Shaq with Salt and Pepper. We got Total. We have Tisha Campbell with her fiance, Dwayne Martin, but we all know they got married and at this point they're now divorced. Dr. Dre, Nia Long with John Singleton, Lawrence Fishburne, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Cuba Gooding Jr. or what it says Cuba Gooding, and then Alan Payne. Here's a little article about Monica. Here are some of her thoughts on life and music. So it says on Don't Take It Personal. Don't take Let me start that over. Don't Take It Personal has a kind of deep message that lets guys know it's not all about them and that sometimes girls need time for themselves. Although I don't date yet, I know I wouldn't want to have a man under me 24/7. I might love him, but these are the 90s and I also have to have a life of my own. Hey, when I need my space, he's going to have to respect that or he's got to step. This is Monica, y'all, Gunica. And I believe she was probably about 14 or 15 as well. I think her and Brandy are the same age, if I'm not mistaken. A little bit on her music, working with my producer, Dallas Austin. I was able to find out new things about my voice and I took chances that usually worked out. I'm very proud of my album as it really reflects who I am as an artist and in many ways as a person. I take my singing very personal and serious, and hopefully, I'll be making music for the rest of my life. Well, Monica is still making music to this day. This was 1996, over 20 years ago. Um, Man, almost 30. It's almost 30 years. But let's see what else she has. On being a role model. Let's see what she says about that. I know some artists think it's uncool, but I like being a positive role model for my fans. I live my life private and public life accepting that responsibility. If I can be an inspiration for just one Black girl to do right and try harder to succeed, then all the hard work and sacrifice that goes into what I do will be worthwhile. Now we know Monica, by the time her second album came out, I don't know if y'all remember, Monica used to wear these armbands. At that time, she had tattoos, and she felt like um, it was she didn't want to represent herself with tattoos. She wanted to, I guess, at some point, she said, "Give the right message," in quotes. Like, I guess that she thought that having tattoos gave off a certain persona that she didn't want to be a part of or didn't want to convey to her fans. So she used to cover them up. She had a big one, I think, on her arm, and she used to cover that up all the time. I remember her talking about that as she stopped wearing those. That the reason why she was covering them up because she thought that's what she needed to do in order to be that quote unquote role model. But then she grew out of that and said that's not what she's about anymore, and she was just doing what she thought she was supposed to do. Um, so right on this section here, this section, I only put this in here because this is crazy, right? Right on was a section that you can write in to the magazine right on. You will put your information, y'all, and your address so you can get a pen pal. Because we had pen pals again back then, writing letters a lot. You would mail letters, snail mail, get a stamp, get some paper, put it in an envelope, and mail it off in hopes of getting letters back. I was all about that. I have tons of letters, because I had so many pen pals around that eventually turned into AOL chat and stuff when that became a thing. But I'm just gonna read. I'm not gonna put the address in here, but this is kind of how it was. So let's see. Hi, my name is Mike. I'm 19 years old. I like to go dancing at clubs and play various sports, including tennis, football, and basketball. I listen to artists such as Tupac, Warren G, Soul for Real, Brandy, and many more. I like to hear from all the ladies out there of all ages. Guys, feel free to write also. I guarantee to answer as many letters as I can, and please try to send a photo. His name was Mike Wynn, and his full address is right there. He was from Canada. Um, Here's somebody else. Yo, what's up? My name is Miriam, and my zodiac sign is crazy cool Capricorn. Some of my hobbies include dancing, playing basketball, hanging out with my friends. Some of my favorite artists are TLC, Immature, Boyz II Men, and Tupac. I would like to hear from males and female, ages 13 to 19. Please send a picture and I will respond to all letters. Peace and love. And again, she had a P.O. box, so she was smart. Um, One more, because this is actually kind of fun. Hey, what's up? My name is Orisha, and I'm 13 years old. I enjoy playing basketball, tag football, talking on the phone, watching television, and listening to music. My favorite artists are TLC, Partners in Crime, Scarface, Coolio, Bone, and Usher. I would like to hear from people ages 14 to 16, and please send a photo. Peace. She had her address on there. So the disclaimer was, or this was what was written at the bottom. How would you like to have friends from all over the world? Just send a letter with your name, age, address, city, state, zip code, and we'll publish it in Right On. Please remember that if your name is selected for publication, you might receive more mail than you can handle, and you may receive correspondence from unwanted individuals. If you are under 18 years of age, please get your parent or guardian's permission first. Then it tells you where to send it. Not you putting your full information into a nationally publication for anybody to like, what was going on in the night? What were we thinking? What were we thinking? It was a different time then. I've never heard of anybody getting hurt doing this, but I would never. These days, I would never. Now, back then, who knows? I probably did this. I don't remember sending it. You know what? I probably did send my information in, and I can hear my mom yelling at me like why I put my address in there. I don't think anything. I don't think I ever got chosen to be in the magazine, but I remember writing writing in and her being very mad at me for sending my information to them. But can you imagine? Can you imagine a time where it is okay put your name, your age, and your address, and then for you to then become pen pals with someone who they're sending their pictures? It was a wild time. It was a wild time in the 90s. Finally, here's a couple of other pictures. There's Total, Kima, Keisha, Pam. And I did have a picture of another group called For Example. I don't really remember these guys. I had to take it out because I was running out of space. But there, if anybody remembers, For Example, there they are there. So yeah, that's about it. That is it for this edition of the Right On Magazine, January 1996. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please comment below. I need some comments. I need some likes. I need you guys to subscribe. I'm going to keep doing this. I have other magazines. Eventually, I'm going to allow you guys to choose which one I'm going to talk about next. We're not there yet because I need y'all to talk to me. I need to hear some feedback from you guys first. But when we get to that point, I'll definitely allow you guys to help me choose the next one that I want to talk about. So again, thank you guys for hanging with me. I'm going to switch this at down here at the bottom. Here's my information. So you can go to my site, jsquick3pod.com, jsquick the number 3.com. You can follow me on Instagram at jsquick3, at jsquick3pod on Twitter, or at jsquick3 on TikTok. All that information is there. Of course, I'll have it in the show notes on the bottom. Just scroll down. I'll have that information there. And as I continue to do these, I hope I'll continue to get better. I hope you are enjoying these things so far. And that's all I have. So I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.